Images. They've long governed our interactions with the world, conditioning everything from the way we communicate on social media to that of how we present ourselves to the world every day. However, what we often don't think about is how the meaning is conveyed and propagated to every observer who we encounter. What is the significance of this meaning? How is it established, and how does it spread? These are all core tenets of my definition of visual rhetoric. Within his essay, Berger is illustrating the nature of photography and how it behaves and functions rather differently from other visual mediums, noting how a photograph arrests the flow of time in which the event photographed once existed. This allows for a certain ambiguity to come to fruition as there becomes a disconnect, a temporal anomaly that arises between the moment captured and the moment that we, the observer, are looking at. This, combined with the quoting nature of photography, allows for its meaning to become flexible, as we allow it for its form and compositional elements to evoke other ideas of events that may have happened surrounding the image in its own timeline, that we impose upon it. Thus, the more information provided in the image, the more burgeoning the ideas that will be implicated, which yields a more thorough understanding of the image. Berger also argues that the role of photography in history is something incontrovertible, yet the quotation, in this case meaning photograph, can misinform. How it has an alienating effect on the viewer, an effect that removes the temporal signifiers of the image and leaves much of the information surrounding the image to be ascribed by the viewer. The viewer accomplishes this by projecting their own lived experience, thoughts, and biases onto the image in such a way that allows the image to be viewed ad nauseum with different meanings. Berger also notes in ways of seeing the mystification of images, which also directly influences the nuancing of meaning that an observer can find in any image. For instead of being used in a manner that clarifies the past, it is used to obscure it. This is the first core idea of my definition of visual rhetoric. Visual rhetoric is innately a personal experience, and being such is one where the observer has the most control over the interpretation of the image. Thus, visual rhetoric is the process by which images speak to observers. Within the sphere of visual rhetoric, the canons of composition, by which I include color, position of subject, and any textual conditioners that may apply to the image itself, medium, and intent truly come to the surface. The composition is the most notable part of an image and is where the primary material from all meaning is derived. However, to examine only this provides not only an incomplete analysis of the image, but an incomplete idea of visual rhetoric. Through the process of the appliqué, the context in which an image is interwoven is incredibly important, as what surrounds the image is just as, if not more, important to the establishment of meaning and persuasive power of the image than the composition can provide solely. The medium can lend itself to the rhetorical velocity of an image as well, discussed by Rodolfo. He comments that the intent of the creation of an image leads directly to the seed by which it spreads, i.e. memes are created in a way that promotes high-velocity remixing and are designed specifically for the purposes of collaborative composition, as opposed to photography. The next tenet of my definition must do explicitly with creatorial control over the image. There are certain processes and techniques that an artist or creator can do to condition the image in such a way that it is predisposed to be viewed in a certain manner. This can be accomplished through the implementation of captions and other overlays on the image that directly or indirectly influence the reception of an image. This is most commonly seen on digital platforms, though it is not exclusive to it. Carrie Mae Weems, a noted African-American photographer, created several photographs that directly address the issue of race relations, and she accomplished this by the direct overlay of text on the photographs that she took, one of the most poignant being displayed now. This illustrative power of text and imagery is irrefutably a core part of visual rhetoric and its processes. There are also other ways of altering the meaning through the usage of color, composition, and general positioning of subjects with an image. This leads to the second part of my definition of visual rhetoric. Visual rhetoric is the process by which creators knowingly spread their work to the observers with an intended meaning. However, when paired with the first part of my definition, this can become slightly muddled territory. Despite this duality, these are the core tenets of visual rhetoric. Visual rhetoric is the process by which a creator makes an image, conditions it, and presents it for an observer to ultimately create meaning. Thus, akin to textual rhetoric, there are no hard and fast definitions for images or the way they communicate meaning. Rather, it is a system that is multifaceted and influenced by rhetorical velocity, target audience, traditional rhetorical peers such as logos, pathos, ethos, kairos, and the general rules of written, oral rhetoric. This system of thought is one of constant evolution and as such will continue to morph and grow as images and imagists themselves do.